right. Welcome everyone to this month's edition of Spiritual Questions Answered. Tonight's topic is curses and black magic. So if some of you have been are wondering what makes us qualified to speak about this topic, let me share. Cordelia and I have been doing energy work, energy healing, and teaching about spirituality and subtle energy since 2010. And I would say somehow our work, a lot of it deals with spiritual healing and cleansing. Now, that may not come as a surprise to those of you who know us. All right, let me share with you something. So, something about our humble beginnings. All right. Now, everything began with Cordelia, right? In 2008, Cordelia had a Kundalini Awakening, a very strong, spontaneous Kundalini Awakening, whereby one moment she was a practically normal person, and she kind of got zapped by energies out of nowhere. And it was so strong that she felt there was a jackhammer in her body, and she was vibrating, right, vibrating on the bed. And it happened to her a period of few times in 2008. And after that, she started seeing things, hearing things, of the spiritual kind. And initially, she thought that she was going crazy, but she had to face it, that she had to consider the possibility that, things were opening up to her, and she began to try and learn about all this. And to cut the long story short, while in the process of learning, right, she went on the web, on the online forums and everything to learn more about energies and about the spirits that she's seeing and hearing. And she got possessed by a demon, actually more than just a demon. And she also was a black magic by a spiritual teacher that she was learning with. All right, and thus began her ordeal. And it took her a while before she got out of it. So all these is actually written in her book called Possessed: From Darkness to Light. Right, it's available on Amazon. You can search for Cordelia Lee and Possessed, and you'll be able to find it. It's also available as ebook on Amazon and also on Google Play Books. All right, so that is our beginning, right? So everything started from Cordelia. So she was possessed by evil spirits. She was black magic, and she got out of it, right? And till today, she is helping everyone, right? Together with me, I've joined her, right? We help people to face this type of what we call spiritual emergencies, right? So tonight, I would like to share with you all, based on our experiences, it's real life experiences, our own experiences and that of our clients and students, right? On the topic about curses and black magic, all right? So these two are very related, right? Curses and black magic. So I'll first talk about curses, right? So what do we mean when we say we curse a person, right? What exactly is a curse? First thing is, for curse, what defines it is ill intent. That means you wish for bad things to happen to people. Right now, I'm not referring to the normal, very casual kind of, people just mouth the F word over very small reasons, right? Sometimes even that can be considered a curse, all right? So what I mean by curse is that, like, it can happen very simply, like in today's world, many people drive, right? Many people drive. You're driving along and someone cut into your lane, and maybe it was very dangerous for the other driver, and you Maybe you could have gotten in an accident and you just automatically, curse the fella to die faster, or something like that, right? Or wish ill, right? The whole point is about ill intent. Ill intent, or we wish bad things, right? Wish ill for people. Now, as long as there's a component of that, wishing ill, wishing bad things to happen to people, or ill intent, right? So basically, you want bad things to happen to people, that qualifies as a curse, right? Now, it can be very simple things. It could be you're angry with a person, and in your mind, you just think like, why don't you just go and die? And part of you meant it. Now, that is already a curse. All right. So, I would like to share with you all part of some of the work that we do, so that I can talk about this curse and how important it is, that people need to understand what curse can do. Now, part of the work that we do is curse cleansing, right? We help people to cleanse curses and black magic from their body, from their energy. All right, that's part of the work that we do: curse and black magic cleansing. So, in fact, um, we do this for many of cases, and something we learned from these experiences. So when we cleanse curses, we notice that there are quite a few types of curses that that are categorized. We notice several categories of curses, which I think that most people need to learn about. All right, so of course, when we cleanse people about of the curses, there are, first thing, curses from other people. So when we talk about curses, first there is from other people. Now this is quite normal, right? In a world today whereby everyone is kind of short-tempered, and if you're a driver, right, and you drive badly, people are going to curse you, and you're going to have those kind of curses. All right. So curses from other people are there, and there is curses from self. Notice, some people tend to curse themselves, right? It's kind of like, some people have poor lives, or what they think, they think they have unhappy lives, and they want to curse themselves to die early, stuff like that. For example, one of the cases we encountered was a particular lady, right? She was single for a long time, right? And so it came to a point whereby the parents or the mom like to ask the lady, like, hey, so when are you getting a boyfriend, right? And she got so so upset about this constant questioning by parents and relatives, like for us ethnic Chinese, when we go back for Chinese New Year, it's quite a common topic. When are you getting married? When are you getting a boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of thing. So she cursed herself to never be attached, never find a boyfriend or never get married. And when Cordelia did the cleansing for her, Cordelia asked her about it, and she admitted, and she told her story why she did it. And she was wondering why. One of the reasons she looked for Cordelia was she was wondering why is it that her love life is not good. And it turned out that one of the things that she had was she cursed herself. Right? So curses from other people, curses from self, right? And there's one more type of curses which we call the rebound curse. This was something that we learned in the course of our work, that there's actually something about rebounded curse. Now, what's rebound curse? or reflected curse. We found out that whenever a person curses another, whenever we curse another person, the curse will inflict some negative energy onto the recipient, but it will bounce back. So from person A, right, to person B, what typically happens is person A will curse person B. But by the laws of the universe, of heaven, there will be a rebound curse. And typically, the rebound curse is minimum 2 times of what you curse the other person. Minimum. This is something we would like to educate the public, and this is the reason why we want to have this talk. Now, imagine this. If you are if you're the type of person who curse another, right? And if you're the type of person who curse a lot, who suffers the most? The person who curse, right? Now, I will tell you a real case that I encountered. So I had a client, right, introduced by another client, quite an old uncle, right, old man. So he has been having, he was very down on his luck for many years, right? So one of the things he would ask for us to do was to do a soul cleansing. So when we do soul cleansing, one of the things that we cleanse is curses, all right? So I cleansed this uncle curse and I gave him a summary of what are the curses that I cleansed from him, right? So I told him, wow, uncle, you know, your case, a lot of curses. I told him, you have a lot of curses on you, right? And we kind of differentiate. For example, we can tell people the curses that can come from past life and those from present life. So I told uncle, uncle, in this one life, your curses outnumber all the curses in your past lives. All the curses in all his past lives is lesser than all the curses in this one life. And basically, his number one reason was rebound curse. Rebound curse. So I asked him, uncle, do you like to curse people? And he kind of looked very sheepish and he said, oh, that was a long time ago when I was a young man, I was hot-headed and I like to curse people. Every single thing I would curse, and so he admitted he cursed a lot. And I told him, I can't remember the figures. I remember he had like something like 9,000 or 10,000 rebound curses on him, right? So 9 to 10,000 cases whereby he cursed people, it inflicted some damage, right? Inflicted some negative energy on his intended recipient, and it bounced back, right? Bounced back on him, some 9,000 to 10,000. So it's way more than all his past lives. And so he shared with me a story how he's never happy in his life, and he's very sad. A lot of things never go well. And now, at the time, it's many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, right? And I think he was maybe in his 70s, 60s or 70s, right? So he's led a very sad life. So I did the cleansing for him, and I educated him. I told him, uncle, please don't curse people anymore, because if you curse people, the worst person who gets affected is you. Right? You can curse people 10,000 times, but 10,000 times is spread over 10,000 people. But the rebound will be at least 20,000, and 20,000 will hit you, which is you are the same person. So if you curse people, you love to curse people, the person who's going to affect it the most is you yourself, right? So this is something that we learned about rebound curses. And just an update about the uncle. We did the cleansing for him. And actually, he's a very sad man. He's a depressed man. And I think somewhere within 1 year, we heard that he committed suicide. Basically, what he did was he doused himself with petrol and he set himself alight in fire. He didn't die immediately. He was in the hospital in ICU for some time, but in the end, he died of his burns. Right? So he was a really unhappy man, and things didn't go well in life for him because he cursed other people, and all of it rebounded and affected him. All right. So now there's another category of curses, right? And it's called black magic. So actually, black magic is a kind of curse because there's ill intent, wishing ill on people. But I will talk about it separately because I think the term black magic kind of gets both attention. But to us, it's actually a type of curse. So when we do soul cleansing, we can cleanse everything. Right? We cleanse everything together, no matter how many curses from this life or past life. If you have black magic, you do one, all at one go. So just to be sure, right? So now, some of you might ask the question, hey, past lives, right? How come when we do cleansing, past life curses are still cleansed? Right? Now, reincarnation is real, right? Every soul reincarnates. Okay, it doesn't matter if you don't believe it, or it doesn't matter. This is what we found out, right? Reincarnation is true, and we can trace on the people's energy, on the soul, how much of the curses come from their past lives, how much come from the present lives. And this was also something that we learned, is that the curses from past lives, they do not go away unless it is cleansed or something happens for it to be removed by itself. Right? There is a way to remove it by itself. So the thing is, if you curse other people, let's say the same uncle, if I didn't cleanse his soul of the curses, he will carry some 9,000 to 10,000 curses into his next life. And it can affect his future lives. Right? This is how bad cursing is. This is how bad cursing other people is. Because it will rebound back onto you. And when you reincarnate in your future lives, you are going to carry this burden. You're going to carry the karma of your deeds in previous lives. Right? So be very careful when you curse. Now, how do curse normally resolve itself? Okay, I will share with you another story of our client. We have one client, and he related his story to us. So his story is very interesting, right? So he shared that he was an alcoholic, right? He was an alcoholic, and basically he drank and he almost ruined everything, right? His business, his family, his marriage was at the brink of losing it all, and somehow, I can't remember the circumstances. This is actually Cordelia's client, right? It's actually Cordelia's client. Somehow he told himself to stop drinking and get his act together. And he was probably a strong-willed man because he decided, and the next day onwards, he stopped drinking. No excuses, right? Some people, they can't quit smoking, and it's like, I slowly reduce and all that. No. For him, drinking is yesterday, drink today, no more means no more. never again, right? And he managed to turn his life, his marriage, his family, his business around, everything, and things went well. So by the time he met Cordelia, and Cordelia did the soul cleansing for him, right? He related his story, and Cordelia checked his energy, soul, and she found that, hey, there was a curse on him from past life, whereby it was linked to alcoholism, right? So this life, he was meant to be tempted to become an alcoholic, right? Meant to be tempted to become an alcoholic to reverse that curse, so that if he made the right decision, right? If by free will, okay, if by free will, he, if by free will he makes the right decision, he will lift that curse of alcoholism from his energy, and he will leave him, right? So Cordelia didn't have to cleanse the curse of alcoholism for him, because by free will he made a choice and he cleansed his own past life curse related to alcoholism. All right. So that is another point for everyone to think about. So curses can carry on to future lives, but you can also, right, for some cases, make decisions to reverse it, right, by your free will. Now, having said that, we are going to move on to the topic, right? Something that's more specialized, which is black magic. So this is a total different category. It is open curse, but it is more specific and it is more, maybe more powerful and dark, right? So we're going to talk about black magic. If you have any questions, please feel free to type. Once I'm done explaining, giving the background about curses and black magic, I will address your individual questions. All right? Yeah, black magic. So what exactly is black magic? Again, black magic is a kind of curse that has ill intent. You wish ill upon other people, but you will use dark energy, right? Dark or sinister energy. Right? So and usually, but not all the time, there will be entities involved. Entities, that means evil spirits. What kind of entities I'm referring to? Evil spirits. Usually evil spirits are involved, but not necessarily. The most important thing is energy. Right? So this energy can come in the form of spells. Right? Now, even even wishing ill on people, is a type of curse. You don't necessarily need a spell. Even wishing ill, just thinking ill, wanting bad things to happen to people, it can happen, right? And all it takes, because energy is involved in our thought. Now, some of you might wonder how, you know, does my thought, does my wish, can it be so powerful? I say for some people, yes. Some people, yes. Some people have very big energies. Sometimes it's because they're born with it, or they're meant to do energy work like Cordelia and I, or they are descendant of a lineage of people who are shamans or something like that. So they have big energy, meant to do this kind of energy work, right? Now I remember I met one person. This one person I met, he is a Pakistani, if I remember correctly. He's from the Middle East. So he's in Malaysia. And he told me that he is very careful about cursing, because twice he cursed people, and each time the person he cursed met with an accident or died. I can't remember. Very long time ago, so many years ago. So he knew that curses work, and after those two incidents, he became very careful about his thoughts, about wishing people for example, to die, to meet with an accident, because it did happen. Now, maybe it's coincidence. I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you that the energy will go and there will be a rebound. All right. But let's talk about black magic. Back to black magic. Right? So, what makes black magic black, for example? So there is dark energy or dark arts, right? So now dark arts, I think some of you might have watched in the movie. So it can be done like in the movies, right? Whereby they'll make sacrifices of animals, humans, even babies. Those are very dark, right? They will use things which are really creepy, right? Scorpions, centipedes, things which are obviously not very nice kind, right? But typically there'll be sacrifice of life, but not necessary, okay? Not necessary. But the traditional method for many of them is like this. They try to find some very dark substance. What other kind of black magic that we encountered? Like now, for those of you who know, Cordelia and I, we are based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So to the north of Malaysia is Thailand. Somewhere south is Indonesia. And, you know, it's quite, apparently it seems that based on our experiences, right, a lot of our clients, the kind of black magic they afflicted with, that they are afflicted with comes from typically of the Thai kind or of the Indonesian kind, right? This is the most common in Malaysia that we find. Okay, so what happens is that we find all this and we cleanse them, right? So now about these dark energies, these curses, it's not necessarily that you must use those scary things. Not necessarily. All right. So there are many ways to do it. There are many ways to do it. Now, let me share with you some stories, some real life stories I've got many. Right. We used to have a client. Right. Her boyfriend was a medium. All right. Her boyfriend was a medium, and actually she's a medium too, but she was not awakened. So she relayed the story to me. So she said, her boyfriend is kind of like medium. He can speak to the spirits, the divine, and her boyfriend knew other people who were into all these practices, and he was more with Buddhism, so he was more of with light, and his friends were more on the dark side. So because he can do the, he was very religious, did a lot of chanting and meditation, and he could, talk to the Buddhas and everything. So he was quite confident in his abilities of light, and because he mixed with those other friends who can do dark arts, it came to a point whereby they challenged each other, and he accepted the challenge, right? And that was when things went very badly for him. So according to a client, what happened was she followed him to visit one of his black magic friends, and they had a meal there. They had a meal, and they went home after that. But apparently they did black magic on him, and he was a bit blurred. He's already accepted the challenge, right? And they gave him a fruit. If I'm not wrong, it was a jackfruit or something like that, a chempedak or nangka to bring home, right? So he put it in the back of his car, car boot, and they drove home. And the black magic already took effect, right? Probably something they ate or drank, right? She wasn't very sure. Black magic has already taken effect, and there was a police roadblock on the way home. And she doesn't understand what came over her boyfriend. Her boyfriend just ran the roadblock, right? Didn't stop when the police asked them to stop. And they were not doing anything wrong. They just ran the ran the roadblock, and of course the police gave chase, right? And of course they caught him and they put it in jail for suspicion of they don't know what was wrong, but they locked him up, and he was in jail for quite some time. And she was trying to get him released, and it was so drama. But she said what was strange was when she went home, the fruit where they were given, right? Originally it was nice fruit, but when she got home, the fruit was all rotten with maggots, right? So that was the kind of dark arts going on there, right? And of course she prayed and everything, and she came to us for help. So now that is one way of delivering black magic, right? And typically there will be, like I said, there will be entities used, evil spirits around, but not necessarily. All right. Interestingly, I have one case recently, right? From Europe. Um, I rarely get black magic cases from advanced countries, but it's maybe not so advanced. It's Eastern Europe country. So in this instance was very strange. The mother of the client was black magic, and the black magic was cast onto her womb, and the womb such that all the children whereby she gave birth to will be cursed, will have black magic in their physical selves. But interestingly, for that particular case, right, there were no entities involved. Usually there are entities, right, and there are all kinds of black magic. So the key thing is dark energy. The key point is dark energy. It can be a spell, so sometimes they will be, it's kind of like witchcraft, a ritual, but not necessarily. It depends on how advanced. And in the earlier example about the client's boyfriend, ramming past the police roadblock. So there are different ways of delivering black magic. All right, let's talk about delivery. So, so in terms of delivery, there can be the very standard method, right? Delivery of black magic or casting. Call it delivery. Now you can have the traditional method, which means physical delivery. Physical delivery could be like something you drank, something you ate, something you receive, right? They may send a package to you. The package may be empty, right? Because it's just energy, and you think it's nothing, but it was black magic that was delivered, right? So usually the traditional ways is some form of physical delivery, or they pour blood. In Cordelia's book, she wrote of how her father was black magic, and when he went to a medium, the medium revealed that dog's blood, or black dog's blood, was sacrificed and poured over, and and they hid something in the altar, right? And when they went to look at the altar, in the incense urn, true enough, there was something there, right? And there was one day when Cordelia's father went to open the door to the office, and there was black sticky liquid, and that was the blood, right? So that is a physical delivery. What is quite common in Malaysia, like I was saying, because we are, in North we have Thai, and in the South we have Indonesians. So in Malaysia, this is quite common. This is quite common. In Malaysia, we have a lot of maids, right? Some families, those who are better to do, they employ maids, and most of the maids in Malaysia come from Indonesia. And one of the most common cases that we do are black magic cases done by the maids on their employers, right? Like one case, they discovered, it's pretty common, that the Indonesian maids will use blood from their menses to do black magic, right? And they found some, the menses, the pads in some areas, and later they discovered that it was all over the house in the in the false ceiling, what they call it, a lot of people, we create a I can't remember the actual term, but like a false ceiling, right? So she hid all these things whereby she did some spells and put it all over the house. So the client called me, right? And they had some strange experiences. They found one of these pets, and then of course they sent the maid home. And when they searched the house some more, they found it was everywhere. So they asked for cleansing, and then we did it for them. For people in the house, um, the owners, and of course for the house itself. That's very common. And sometimes they use hair, right? They use the hair of their masters. And usually they don't mean, they most of these maids, they don't really wish specifically very ill, but what they do is they try to control their so-called their masters or their their employers, right? Now, this is another thing that qualifies as under the dark arts, because what the maids were trying to do was they were trying to use the spells and black magic, right, to control their employees, to make sure the employees treat them nice, right? They do it out of fear. They're like trying to protect them. So they're trying to make sure that cast a spell on the employees so the employers will be nice to them. So if you hear stories of them putting menses blood into the soup that the soup that the employers drink, or they take the hair, they cast some spell and they hide it around the house. We have had cases whereby they found hair inside, for example, in the water closet of the toilet, right? Got a bunch of hair tied up with some string, and then it just so suspicious, just so suspicious. And they know it's the maid who did it, and of course it's black magic, and then we are on to deal with such cases. Now, so in this type of cases, the maid do not actually wish ill upon the employer. What they're trying to do is they're trying to interfere with free will, right? So they're trying to interfere with free will. That means they want to influence people in a way that is beneficial to them. That is also considered as dark, right? That is also because they're using dark energies, and is interfering with free will is also something that the dark does. People like us, we can never mess with free will, right? It's one of the rules that we are governed by, right? We are light workers. So if you mess with free will, that is also under black magic. For example, right? It's very common. You even see it on the internet, right? People sell spells, right, to bring back your boyfriend and girlfriend, to bring back lost lover. There are spells like that, and all those are actually black magic, right? It can be just energy, it may have entities, but we are trying to affect the free will of another person. That is classified as black magic. So if black magic, it is still subject to the same rebound law. All right. So it is still subject to the same rebound law. Like I said, for normal curse, the standard is minimum 2 times. Now, depending on how dark the black magic is, it will go beyond 2 times, maybe 3 times, 4 times, 10 times the effect of the curse. So, so sometimes we know, we can know when we check a person's energy that they have done black magic on another person. It does not necessarily mean that he or she need to be the person who did the spell, but as long as he or she go to a dark practitioner, right? Go to a dark practitioner and instigate, have a spell cast on their victim, it will also rebound and affect them. The black magic energy will also affect them. Now, let me share with you another real story of my client. Now, my client, right? She had an ugly divorce with her husband, and she was very angry because he had an affair, right? He had an affair, and the divorce was very ugly, And so she was very angry, and she knew this woman who supposedly a nun who do who do palmistry readings and everything, and she relayed her story to this lady. She do readings and try to help people be better with their life. And then she asked her, do you want to do something to him for for treating you so badly? And in her anger, she said yes. So the lady brought her to a graveyard, and they were looking for a demon. According to her, they were trying to look for a very powerful evil spirit, right? And then they went to his house, and uh, she did something to deliver it. But the good thing was they couldn't find a demon at the graveyard. They found some ghosts, right? And she used whatever method, and then she gave it to deliver to her ex-husband, right? And she told the dark practitioner, right, told my client that um, she needs to be protected from the black magic too, right? And she gave her something to wear and to put at her house so that the same evil spirits will not come for her, right? And so I knew her she was actually my friend, right? I knew her for many years, so I know her story. And after I joined Cordelia and do this work, she found out I was doing all this, and then she came to me because she's quite sensitive to energies, and she said she could feel, right, after a few years of, having done black magic on her ex-husband, she could feel the effects of some dark things coming to her. And she somehow felt in her heart, this is a rebound, and this is the karma of having done black magic on another person. So she came and approached us, and true enough, it was, right? And she asked us to cleanse it. So we did the cleansing, but heaven said we are not allowed to cleanse everything, and heaven will not cleanse everything. She was only allowed to cleanse half of the black magic. The other half will remain with her, and she was given 1 year to do good deeds, to balance her bad karma of having cast black magic on another person. And after 1 year, she was supposed to meet up with us again, and for us to cleanse the other half of the black magic. And of course, 1 year later, she did a lot of karma, to help people and everything. Not necessarily donations, but to help people to really do good deeds and to atone and to regret actions, right? So after 1 year, then only we help her remove the black magic. And now there are a few things to learn from this example, right? When the evil spirits sent, the evil spirits will go to the victim, and when they mess up enough with the victim, they will also come to the person who instigate. Well, the dark practitioner will try to protect you, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it may not be enough, and even if it protects her from the entities, it cannot protect her from the rebound, because the rebound is the law of the universe of heaven. You can't. There's no way you can escape the karma of having done black magic. And she was a very good example. Yeah, I've got so many stories, right? So that was just to illustrate the point, right, that it can rebound. And there are, if you want it cleansed off as a person who did the black magic, it's not so simple, right? So we could only cleanse half, and she need to atone for her mistake. She need to make up for it. She need to make up in good deeds before it all can be cleansed, right? Now, there's of course, now I'd like to share with you all, like, what is black magic like? What is it like to be a victim of black magic, right? What are some of the signs that, one might experience? Now, black magic, essentially is a lot of dark energies, and it increases the chance of bad things happening. So it depends on, the percent chance the bad things happening, it increases vastly. So it depends on what, how the spell is cast and what it's meant to do. Now, some people, they want to kill you, right? And when they cast the black magic, so it increases the chance of bad things happening. So it could be like you have so much black magic, dark energy with you that, for example, accidents will happen very easily. Now, like one of my cases, which I mentioned before in a previous talk about hell, I think. Now, what happened to a lady client of mine was she was actually black magic by, in her case, was by her husband's lover. Husband's lover. But I didn't tell her at the time. What I found out was she got back together with her husband. Right, they were kind of like not on good terms for many years. She got back with her husband. She made efforts to repair the marriage, and then her husband, also reciprocated, and so they got back together, right? And of course, I think he left his lover, and the lover did black magic on her, right? And she was wondering what was happening because she called me because in the space of 1 month she had 2 car accidents. In all her life, she had never had serious accidents. And in the space of 1 month, she had 2 serious accidents. And she called me. And she said she's been feeling weird. And one of the things that she felt was, okay, this is a common sign that many people feel, is heart palpitations. The heart beats very fast for no apparent reason, right? It's as if you have a heart defect or heart problem, right? She went to a hospital to check, and the doctor say no, everything's all right. He did the ECG, everything, but she still felt the palpitations, right? And then the accidents happened, so she thought something was very wrong, and then she contacted me, and I told her yes, it's black magic, right? But as a light worker, I never tell her about the lover and everything, so I just tell her no. It's related to the husband, you can let your husband know it's related to him. So I just try to make her get the husband to know, right? So the husband might suspect, but I didn't tell her it actually came from a lover. That's besides the point. So bad things can happen, and it's really weird. Now, another client of mine was a lawyer. She was a new lawyer, and I think she was pretty good. The thing was, she angered some people at the office. She angered some people in the office, and after a while, she started to feel strange, and strange bad luck things started to happen to her. She said she walked, as just walking along the road, and the wind will blow and small stones will enter her eye, very contacts, and then will give her very bad infection and eye thing, and it happened more than once. It's like, what are the chances of that happening? And the worst thing that happened to her, whereby she knew something was very wrong, was when she had something like she cut her hand on on something, right? It was something like a paper cut. It was a very thin paper cut kind of thing. And what happened that shocked her was, from that cut, something black emerged. Something black emerged, and from her hand, it spread, a black line across the veins, right? Spread up her hand. And she went to the hospital, and they managed to save her, found some toxin or whatever. But now, what are the chances of so many bad things happening at the same time, right? She came to me, yes, I found that it was black magic, and I taught her how to, help her remove it. Another client, a Cordelia's client. Cordelia's client is very interesting, this black magic case. So she's a lady. She came to Cordelia. And she told Cordelia she could remember. She knows it's black magic, right? And she's been to different sifu, different spiritual healers to try and get it cleansed. She said she can remember the night it happened because she woke up in the middle of night with her heart pounding, right? Because she felt something pierce her heart, right? Something pierced her heart, and it was so painful. And from that night onwards, she could not sleep properly. And for many years, she could not sleep properly. She went to many healers, right? Many spiritual people to try and get it removed. right? And so Cordelia helped her remove. And what Cordelia found out was that the black magic was actually not targeted at her. It was targeted at her husband. Her husband was a businessman, and probably business rivalry, and he was a victim of black magic. But the husband's energy was very strong. Was very strong. He was blessed, or maybe by some good deeds in his past life or something. The black magic couldn't affect him, but because she was sleeping next to him at the moment when the black magic was cast on him, right, it bounced from him to her. So she became the unintended victim of the black magic. This similar thing also happened to Cordelia's dad. Apparently, Cordelia's dad is also blessed with similar energy, whereby the energy is very strong, and the black magic didn't affect him, but it affected Cordelia's mother. So this same thing happened to this Cordelia's client, and so Cordelia helped her cleanse it, everything, and later the client told Cordelia, right? She sheepishly admitted to Cordelia that actually, right, one of the sifu, one of the healers who tried to remove this black magic for her, ended up in the hospital in a black magic battle, right? And from then on, most of the healers, or it kind of spread amongst the healers, no one wanted to deal with this black magic. Everyone knew that the black magic on her was very strong, right? But for Cordelia, it was like, oh, Cordelia didn't even know, but yeah, it's okay, it was done, and that was it, right? So there can be things like that. So look out for bad things happening to you. The heart palpitations is one thing. All right. So why is it that there are heart palpitations, right? I'm just going to wrap up the talk around here, right? Before we go to your questions and answers. So typically, what's happening is this is us. Right? We are supposed to have an aura, right? Those of you who've been with us for some time, you know that I always talk about our aura, our light aura. Right? Our aura comes from an invisible light in our physical heart. Right? This is the light that we teach people to strengthen during our light meditation. Right? So from our heart radiates a positive aura, right, of light, invisible light. Right? Some people can see the light. This aura protects us from negative energies, including black magic. Right? Now, black magic, it can go into our physical self and it can cause serious problems. Right? I've seen a guy whereby he's got his whole hand blackened. Blackened is as if frostbite. As if frostbite. He doesn't smoke or anything. So it's sometimes said it's caused by smoking. I can't remember. There's a condition, there's a name for it, but his whole hands were black and the fingers all died, and it was tripping up his hands, and the doctors, were considering to amputate. Right? I have the photo somewhere in my phone. It's quite a few years ago. Right? But I told him, for that client, I told him it's too late to undo the damage of the black magic, but I can cleanse the black magic from him to prevent it from spreading. That was all I can do. But the damage to the physical body is already too late. Now, what happens is we are supposed to have this light, and this light is supposed to help us protect us from black magic, but black magic is very strong, right? It depends on the person who does it, right? So it's very strong, and then it will affect aura, right? Aura with a lot of blackness, and eventually our heart, because all this energy, our light is linked to the source, which is at our physical heart, right? So our physical heart will be tainted, will be corrupted by all this icky, yucky, dark energy. That is when, right? Because our source of light is at our physical heart. That's when the lights will start to feel the effects, and it will palpitate. It will cause us to have heart palpitations. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I forgot to talk about the other delivery method. So the first delivery method, right, is physical. Now the other delivery method is totally energy. Right? Totally energy. Now, what do I mean by totally energy? Just to share with you all about the story in Cordelia's book. So Cordelia was one of the examples of having received black magic. in the more advanced method. I would say the energy delivery method is more advanced, right? So she was black magic and everything, and Cordelia, Cordelia could, because she was awakened, right? She could talk with the spirits, and because she worked on herself, she meditated a lot, she could even communicate with the divine. And one divine told her, right, that the black magic was cast on her email and phone number, right? Email and phone number. So what Cordelia did was she canceled her number, her phone number, mobile number, and she had to delete her email account that she's been using for years, decades. And after she did that, she could feel the black magic ease off, the energy left her. So this is what I meant by energy. Anything that links you, that you consider your own, right? For the advanced practitioners of black magic, they can use it to cast on you, anything of you. So you don't need the physical delivery. In today, it's very easy in today's world. They go to your Facebook, they get a picture of you. Even if you don't put a picture, if they are very skilled, just by your name that is on Facebook, they will find you. By your email, by your phone number, right? I have a clients, corporate clients. I also do corporate places, whereby it's done on the company's logo, right? The black magic is done on the company's logo, and the entire group of companies will suffer. And of course, I've also done corporate whereby they did it physically. They go to, I had a client that is, they had a ship, offshore ship, right? Wow, the ship was all, they won a tender and everything, and the losing party, they did some black magic, and there's so much trouble with the vessel, and it's out in the sea, right? And so much damages, and things were just not working, and so they did something to the ship, right? Offshore vehicle, it's those petrol offshore one. So they got me to cleanse the black magic, and a few days later, everything was working. All kinds of things, right? So now this energy delivery method, so you can send the black magicians can send the black magic. In Chinese, we call it Fei Gong. Cantonese, a flying curse, flying black magic, right? So basically, what they need is something that belongs to you, identifies with you, not necessarily even physical, So, like I said, even your phone number is good, right? So that is how roughly black magic works. Now, the question you all will want to know, or the answer is, what can you do? What can you do if you're black magic? What can you do by yourself? Oh, very simple. Those of you who know, if you are a practitioner of Unity Qigong, if you do it enough, Unity Qigong, right? Those of you who know, Unity Qigong helps release negative energies from your energy, from your body, right? That's one of the specialty about Unity Qigong. And just to share a little about Unity Qigong wasn't something that we learned from another human teacher. Unity Qigong was something that we received during meditation, that we received from the source of light, right? So it's very powerful. It can bring a lot of positive energies into you and help you release negative energies. So if you do enough Unity Qigong, it will help you release black magic from you. Maybe not everything, but you will lessen the effects a lot. So you don't have to suffer so much. And even by the time you come to us for cleansing, you just need to clean up the remnants, right? The other thing that can help would be light meditation. Right? Earlier, I talked about how our light protects us from negative energies. So we teach people to do light meditation to strengthen the light and to cleanse the light, to relieve negative energies. So if you're a victim of black magic, the black magic energy will be with you in your energy, and your light will be trying to prevent it from seeping into your physical form, right? Into your physical cells and everything. So the more you strengthen your light, the more you do light meditation, you can also cleanse and release. right? But if you really want to be very specific on learning how to release it, then you will need to join our immunity healing program. Become a healer, a light worker yourself. There's a lot to learn before you can actually do the things that Cordelia and I do, or what some of our disciples can do too, right? So there are actually things that you can do, right? So this is all I have to say about the topic, curses and black magic. So let me see what the questions we have. Feel free to type your questions. If you would like to ask questions by speaking, please feel free to unmute yourself. Bearing in mind, it's a recorded session. So if you speak, then your voice and your face will be recorded. All right. Okay, let me go to the top and see what are the questions. Edwin is asking, if one do chanting throughout life, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Amitabha Sutra, Kuan Yin Sutra, Avantasaka Sutra, Kam Gong King, will it ward off evil force? That's a good question. For Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, no. Amitabha Sutra, not necessarily Amitabha Sutra, just Namo Amitabha or Namo Amitobo will do. It can and it may not work. Now, I need to share a little bit about black magic, a little bit more. Now, the dark practitioners are very powerful. I would say most of the dark practitioners are more powerful than most of the light workers today. Than most. All right. Now, I already shared the story of how the boyfriend of my client, he was a medium. Just because he's connected to the Buddhas, he think he could challenge the dark practitioners, and those dark practitioners were doing physical delivery. I can tell you, physical delivery, right, is not the most powerful of black magic. More powerful is those that can do energy. And he was just dealing with those, and he lost. He lost real bad, and in fact, he was so scarred by the experience, he never dared to pray and connect with divine that strongly anymore. He tried to avoid all things dealing with energy. Although he remained a Buddhist, right, he was nowhere like his former self after the incident, right? He got so scared and spooked by that incident. So now the thing is this, the dark practitioners know that people will chant, right? And they have methods to deal with this, because chanting mantras is one of the most common methods, prayers and mantras. So the dark side have their methods to deal with it. And if you want to expect chanting and prayers to be able to deal with the black magic, I can tell you, most of the time it doesn't work. Unless your faith is very high, right? Your faith is very high. But even the boyfriend of the client, his faith was very high. He could literally talk to the Buddhas, but he lost. It's not so straightforward, right? The dark practitioners, they have their ways of dealing with people of light, and they are normally more advanced, right? There are not many light workers who can win battles against dark practitioners, right? I have quite a number of clients whereby they came to us after their sifu, the healer or the light worker who works for them, who helped them, died or lost in a black magic battle, in a battle with dark practitioners, right? And I myself have had very tough black magic battles before. But don't worry, I'm still alive, right? All is good. And in today's time, I'm no longer so worried about such, right? Because that was very long ago, I think. I remember the year 2013, 2012. All right. So just chanting, not necessarily. Okay. It depends on faith. So Evan asking, is it true that Malay Java Bomo afraid of pork? Okay. I'm not sure whether I answered this before, but I do share with some people now. It's not that they are afraid of pork. The spirit, this is more linked to the question of ghosts, and because they send entities. Now, the thing is this: if the entities that they send are Malay ghosts, Muslim ghosts, right? So the Muslim ghosts, they have memories of their life as Muslim, so they don't like pork at all, right? So one of the ways of protecting yourself against Muslim ghosts is through pork or carrying pig bones, right? Some I don't know about you all, right? Because you are from different parts of the world, but in Malaysia, right? Like some of us, some of the Chinese priests, they deal with Malay dark arts by using parts of the pig. And one of the famous parts of the pig is a particular bone in the skull of the pig. It's a small, tiny bone because it's a very small, tiny bone, right? And you can easily carry it around. It's quite highly priced. They will go to the butcher and they'll ask for it, right? And it will protect them from Malay spirits. It does not protect them from the dark energy, but it protects them from the spirit. So that's kind of some protection, but only from Muslim spirits. So if you have a ghost which is Chinese who love pork and you have some pork with you, oh my God, the Chinese ghost is going to love you, right? So it only works for Muslim spirits. Evan is asking, what's the best way to remove self-curse and curses by others? So self-curse and curses by others, you need to, like I explained the story, is normally involves some free will, right? You will meet with the situation and you need to overcome. Now, if some of us in this life, we may be going through some dark periods in life due to our own self-curse from past life or curse from other people in past lives affecting us to be bad, right? Now, ultimately, everything can be undone by our free will. So we will need the free will to, for example, to be hardworking, to put in effort, to be spiritual, to be a good person. These are the standard things. You focus on becoming a good person. And something I need to stress over and over again, values. What truly defines a good person is values. By values, I mean things like love, kindness, compassion, And of the highest values, the higher the values is based on values that have very little attachment and very little conditions, right? In terms of love, the highest love is unconditional love. In terms of truth, and you're truthful no matter what conditions. Whereas a lot of people, they don't tell the truth, right? They only tell the truth under certain conditions. Other times they will tell white lies, right? Because the truth is so conditional. There's so much attachment. So the idea is to be of values and of as little attachment as possible. Right? So you can do that. It's kind of one by one slope. So unless you want to come to us for soul cleansing, curse cleansing session, right? Then it can be done. Then you do it all at one go, right? Including black magic from this life, past life, all be done all at one go. Evan is asking if people get one photo hair or nail, will they easy to black magic the target? So I explained it. Delivery method. Nowadays you don't need the hair anymore. All you need is your Facebook, right? Your face, your WhatsApp, anything, right? It depends on how skilled the dark practitioner is. But yes, photo hair, anything of yours can be done. Kira is asking, is evil eye considered as a curse? Kira, could you care to be more specific about what you mean by evil eyes? Okay, Evan is asking, Java use jinn, Thai uses spirits of the dead or other evil spirits. Which one is more powerful? No, it doesn't matter to me, right? So evil spirits, they have their ranks. So a demon, you can say, is powerful, but there are entities that are even more powerful than demons. To me, to us, demons are really nothing. Some of you here who are joining us, you have experience, you yourself are very experienced, you should know. Demons are not necessarily the most powerful, but to normal people, they sound really scary. Okay, I understand that. So there are many kinds of evil spirits, right? So it depends. Now, it's not just the evil spirit, it's a spell. I can share with you some of the most powerful black magic that we've ever encountered are those that came from India. It's quite rare to encounter from India, but we've encountered quite a few. We've encountered from around the world, even African. I don't know, is our African friend here tonight? No. Right, Africa also, they have a very interesting black magic culture there. I have a client in Africa tells me very interesting stories, things that he's seen with his own eyes, unbelievable. Now, so they can be all kinds of things, right? And in Malaysia, you hear a lot of things like toyos, about toyos. So toyos are spirits created from evil spirits, abominations, warp spirit created from souls of babies that died, right? And then people it's quite common in this part of the world in Southeast Asia, they keep such spirits, and the spirits can go and steal things and stuff like that, and they feed it with stuff, right? So those are from dark arts too. It doesn't really curse people, but it's using dark energy to create things, and of course the intent is no good, right? To enrich oneself or to cause trouble or harm to others. So I was saying, like the India one, that was very powerful. It didn't even really have entities attached with it. It came with just very powerful energy. And the black magic works as a disease kind of thing. It could spread from one person to another. And it was like so, wow, we were so alarmed because we were seeing it spread as it encountered more and more people. And that was very advanced. And yeah, I saw the face of the dark practitioner in India. It's very old, like a witch of possibly a few hundred years old. It was very powerful. I know it was a very old witch, right? And I didn't battle with the witch. I just help the clients cleanse it and deal with the black magic, and that was it. Yeah. Okay, let's see the next question. Which is the best way to remove generational curse? Okay, I didn't really talk about generational curse here, but yes, there is generational curse. So generational curse could be people who curse. It could be one is from other people curse. They curse. Some people curse really bad. Curse in Chinese we say, "I cursed you for 18 generations." It's a saying in Chinese. Curse people for 18 generations. That, for example, there's something I always hear when I was young. Curse people such that when they give birth, the offspring will not have an anus. 生仔冇屎忽, right? That's what they say is. Talk about 18 generations. So a generational curse, whether it's from people or from black magic, it can happen, right? And we do encounter such some of these cases. It's a little bit more complicated than usual. So just share with you all a little bit about this. So sometimes people do curse whereby it affects the whole family. So it's cast on, for example, the head of the family, normally the husband, right, the father, and then from the father, the curse will spread to his children and his wife, right? Those are immediately related to him, and then it can be generational, such that it will go on down the generations. So one of the cases that I did is a Thai case. He gave me a testimonial. It's in Facebook. He didn't mention the curse specifically, but he did thank me. So what happened was he asked me to check his home in terms of feng shui, right? And I checked and I said, there's nothing wrong with the feng shui, but there's a lot of black magic energy, and you guys are affected by generational curse. And I linked it to his granddad, right? To his granddad, it was some business thing, right? And so everyone is affected. And so he asked me to cleanse it. He wasn't very sure. And so he only offered to pay me half of my quoted fees. I told you it's a lot of work because it's a generational curse. There was like more than 10 people involved. There was a lot of people involved. And the cleansing need to be cleansed as the root, need to cleanse as the grandfather. So just cleansing the people below root is no use. You need to cleanse all the way up from ground up, all the way to the person where it originated. Even after the person has died. Even after the person has died, we need to find the soul whereby the spell is cast to cleanse it at the original soul. That is how bad generational curse are. So even people that died, but this case, a Thailand case that I did not so long ago, I think last year, right? So so I cleansed all the way up. He paid me half the fees only, right? Because he barely knew me. And I just left it as that. 1 week later, he told me he wanted to give me a testimonial. He didn't describe the black magic. He just said how much his family changed, right? So basically, his family was very bad tempered, right? And after the cleansing, everyone became milder in temper. There was so much peace in the house, right? And he knew it's because of the cleansing. It's because the black magic and all the evil spirits were removed. And I helped him all that, and he was so happy, right? That he paid my other half of the fees, right? Even though I agreed to do it for half the price I quoted. I'm normally, if you don't have the money, I'm okay. I will still help, right? We don't do this just for the money, but please don't always discount my fees. All right, so that was a case. So that is generational curse. So in terms of generational curse, the way to do it is we need to get the source, the first victim, the primary victim, and to cleanse it down, right? And to find all the entities that it sends, because usually these are very powerful. It doesn't send just one entity, it sends hundreds and thousands to affect so many people, right? Okay, so generation, that's generational curse. Next question, hang on, let me find. How can we be aware of what is white or light magic and what is black magic? For example, following online teachers and online websites. Okay, that's a very good question. Now, quite a number of my clients experience this. They were victims of black magic, and they go to a healer, a monk or a priest, right, by reputation, to ask, to request for the black magic to be removed, right? And the healer, sometimes monk or priest, will offer them this option. Do you want me to reflect this black magic back to the person who did it onto you? Right? And of course, in your anger, you might be very tempted to say yes. Right? Because we are so programmed by media, movies, books, that it is the right thing to do, the right thing to take revenge. But I tell you that it's all dark. The same thing with my client who did it on her ex-husband, right? It's dark. So if you go to anyone for such things and they offer this, the intent is no longer, always bear in mind, if the acts done is not on free will, it's bad. It interferes with free will, trying to bring your lover back, your husband, your wife back, right? And we have received such requests. We have received such requests whereby the wife will come and say, oh, my husband is having an affair. Can you do something to make the woman go away? No, we can't. Because if we're interfering with free will or make the husband go back to her, no. If the husband, for whatever reasons, we say, infidelity, right? Or just plain horny, that is his own free will, right? If it's by his free will, there's a choice he chose, we cannot do it. The only option for us as light workers is we will cleanse curses. So if the person has black magic, we'll cleanse it so that the person is no longer affected by dark magic, so that they can exercise their free will that is not affected by black magic. That is what we can do. So how do you know the spiritual teacher? Actually, you will need to learn energy reading. Right? But what normal people do is try to look at their values, try to feel and understand this teacher, based on what they talk. Now, it's not just because they talk about love, it means they will be love. Right? They'll be a light worker, they can, not necessarily, it's about energy. You need to, for example, in energy reading, we always train people, the basics is you need to do enough unity qigong and enough light meditation. Then your energy will become very pure of light, and then it's very easy for you to know what are dark energies, right? So if you are a beginner, right, say any one of you, we can attend our online sessions, which is donation basis, free if you want, right? So you do enough unity qigong and light meditation. If there's any thing done to you by black magic, you will immediately very easy to feel the heart palpitations. And most of you are young, right? And I've been a victim of black magic too before, right? Because I to help people by practicing black magic. I've been involved in many battles of that. So I felt it too. So if your energy is normally pure, thanks to Unity, Qigong, and light meditation, it's very easy for you to feel such black magic. And easy for you to feel dark energies coming from a spiritual teacher or healer. Of course, we check my values. So always watch out if you're asking for some healing and they offer to reflect back some black magic or some dark energy onto people who did it to you, immediately they are dark, right? That's a very simple thing to tell. Who is likely not affected by black magic or curses? This is very rare, but Cordelia had a client. Cordelia's dad is born with that. Apparently, his date of birth falls on certain timing that is, he was told is certain timing whereby some special celebration of Buddhas or something. So I don't have his date of birth or whatever. Accordingly, that's according to Cordelia's dad. But it's true, you know, he was black magic, but he didn't end up being the victim. It was Cordelia's mom who was severely affected, and he was barely affected, right? So some people, and you have to be born with it, or either that is due to some good deeds you did in your past life, or you are like us, do enough Unity Qigong like meditation, your energy is very strong, right? Or maybe you could do enough mantras and your energy is very strong, right? But you need to cultivate at a very, very high level before you're able to do that, all right? Is Santao a form of black magic? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the term Santao, but as long as it's dark energy interferes with free will, with ill intent, or sense dark entities, right, is black magic. All right. Jenny is asking, how do one cast even to another person? What are the things it uses to cast a spell? So you need a dark practitioner to do that. And I mentioned, you know, sometimes they use some strange things, blood and sacrifices and everything. And there are, there are people who teach such things, right? And people who write books about such things is actually available. Witchcraft is available, right? Please don't go into it. If you go into it, right, remember the rebound curse, the rebound law is very serious. All right. So, next question. Katrina is asking, why is there more black magic in some parts of the world and in other none of it? Yeah. Now I would say black magic is normally there's very little black magic in advanced countries because, you know, everyone is busy making money and the old ways are lost. But in the less advanced countries, the developing countries, I noticed that there tends to be more. And in fact, I was quite surprised. I had one client whereby she was black magic in Canada, and I was kind of skeptical, you know, when I first heard her say, got it from a Canadian, because it's quite rare. But I checked her, yes, it's true, and I helped her remove the black magic, right? So in advanced countries, for example, in the Southeast Asia, Singapore is very advanced. They don't see, so much of it, but because they travel so much, right? Singaporeans, they travel, that's a very small country. So they get black magic that come from other countries like Thailand and Indonesia. These are the two most common in Southeast Asia, right? That we encounter here, right? And I said occasionally India, I've encountered East European, African also counted. So normally it's due to developing countries. So there are a lot of the old ways are preserved, right? And in the old ways, they are both light and dark. So not necessarily dark, all dark. So even in Malaysia, we have a lot of temples whereby the old ways are preserved, the ways of mediumship, connecting with the divine, that I don't see that in Singapore, and it's clearly not available in the advanced countries, right? And in the advanced countries, especially Christian countries, right, the church, if you all know about the history of the church did a lot of purging of this type of what they call pagan practices, you know, and there was in Salem the burning of witches and all this, and those were not necessarily witches doing black magic, and even those doing light magic, as long as you were doing some kind of thing with energy, you know, you were burnt alive in those times. So of course, due to all this purging, a lot of these arts were lost in some of these countries. But in other countries, it's preserved until now. It's normally because they are not advanced yet. All right. Let me see. How do the person self-curse a lot? Worst case, times 3 times plus. Yes. Jenny is saying some vomited needles from body after being cleansed. Malay says santau. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I didn't know. So yeah, there's some people they do like flying needles. Like flying needles, there are all kinds of stories, right? Flying needles or traditional removal. Then people go to toilet and then worms will crawl out. There's a lot of kinds like that. So those are normally traditional. They deal with very gross things, right? But when we remove our methods will not necessarily find needles and nails, but even nails. In Malaysia, there was a famous case. There's this singer called Awi, Awie, right? I remember it because he went out to newspaper to say that he was a victim of black magic, and previously he never believed in black magic. And apparently, when black magic was removed, there were chicken feathers or nails coming out of him, right? And he was so surprised, right? Yeah, something like that. I can't remember, but probably it's Google. Can go and do a Google on it. And I remember I was so surprised because he was a very famous local pop star, right? Singer in at least 20 years ago, right? So yeah, I'm that old. Okay, so yeah, he went on to the newspaper to talk about his experience and how it made him more religious. So yes, there's kinds of things like this. The way we deal with black magic is we deal at the energy level. We don't cause it to form physical stuff to remove. We deal at the energy level. We remove it at the energy level. So you won't see the pins and needles and nails, that kind of thing. All right. Waib is asking when's the next Infinity program starting. So Infinity program it starts when I can find minimum 2 person who are willing to do it together, right? So Infinity program, right now, I'm not teaching it. I'm not teaching it like because in any program, the initial training phase, you need people to be present together to learn so that they can learn about invisible energies. They need to experience it for themselves, so they need to be at the same location. So at least 2 person at the same location, if they can commit, right? Then I will open a class just for the 2 person, right? And then I will announce it out to other people whether they want to join in or not, right? Typically at least 2 person. If you don't have 2 person together, you can still learn, but you won't get as much out of the program and you pay the same price, all right? Kira is asking, what a person will willingly use certain spells on him, herself for beauty or wealth. Now, everything is about energy. So if whether it's an energy good or bad. And then we talk about values. Now, for wealth, if it's for wealth, right, I can almost guarantee there are two values involved: greed or laziness. Lazy to work and greedy for more money without having to work, right? So are the values good? No. If the values are not good, the energies, do you think it's good? No. The energies is bad. If the energies are bad, so do you think it's black magic or white magic? Black magic. All right. So at the end of the day, we talk about values. All right. And then does it interfere with free will? So, if you interfere with free will of people, if it's bad values, black magic. Cat, when you clear those black magic, the dark guys didn't come after you because you break their curse. Um, Now this is a very sensitive topic. Of course, if you are not careful enough, and depending how the black magic, the dark practitioner does the spell, if you alert the dark practitioner is going to come after you, right? So when we do immunity healing, we train our students, our disciples, right, to treat black magic very seriously and not to do it in such a way that you alert the dark practitioner. Then you're going to get into a dark practitioner fight, and my God, it's not worth it, right? For just to let you all know, right, we charge like just 300 ringgit per person. 300 ringgit is like, you know, $75 to cleanse black magic, right? From one person, right? Of course, generational curse and all that, very complicated. We charge more. Typically, yeah, if you come and see us, right? Come and see us in person, we charge you 300 ringgit per person. And for 300 ringgit per person, you get into a battle with a dark practitioner that will last weeks. I tell you, it's not worth it. No one wants to do this work. As it is, most people don't want to do the kind of work that we do. It's so dangerous. You're dealing with black magic, you're dealing with entities all the time. Who wants to do, right? Now, a lot of people come and say that, oh, okay, 300 ringgit is a lot. Okay, I pay you 1,000, you do it for me. I pay you 1,000, I pay you 3,000, I pay you 10,000. Will you do cleanse black magic for people? I dare say most people will not. People die for it. People can die. Other healers have died. Other healers go to end up being hospitalized doing this job. So it's a very risky job, and I hope, you know, if we tell you it's 300 ringgit or whatever price we quote, please, you know, we are exposing ourselves to danger, and we hope that you appreciate it, because it is a very low price for the kind of work that we are doing. So yes, try not to alert the dark side at all. Here's saying the term evil eye in Islam usually related to jealousy. Now it's really, you know, with regards to evil eye, it is related to jealousy. It ends up with dark energy. It causes a curse to be, you know, energy to be inflicted on a person. It will count as a curse, or if it involves dark energies, whereby, you know, spells and really dark things, then it will be classified as black magic. Simple as it is. So, but if it's just jealousy and you don't do anything, it's fine. But if you start to affect other people, then it's either curse, or if it involves dark energies, then it becomes black magic. Hundreds or 100 years of which still alive. I don't know. I just saw the face. She looks really old, and I got the feeling that she's uh, very old. And there's no proof, but one of my teachers, a guru of mine, she had a guru which she said was a few 100 years old when she died. Apparently, a very famous guru in India, right? So yeah, things like that. There's no proof, but just stories. Okay, I think like person A intensely jealous over person B achievement, and someone cast an evil eye on person B. Yes, so if it's something is cast, then it can be a curse or black magic. Langkawi Masuri curse, Edwin. Yes, it's a famous curse. Cordelia said, Cordelia sharing about her dad, said that her late grandma said that her dad was born on the day of 1,000 Buddha's birthday, something like that. So that kind of explains, um, you know, why Cordelia's dad is kind of immune to black magic. Katrina is asking, can it be that somebody is a black magician and not know it? I doubt it. If you're really into spells and everything, but the person could convince himself or herself that, you know, they are doing some good deeds, but actually, you know, if they're willing to face the truth of it, it's not. It's all dark. For example, somebody spreading black magic occurs online unintentionally and not knowing it. It could be if they are victim themselves, yes, but if they are the ones doing it, then no, right? So again, it's about whether they know or not. So if they're really a black magician, you know, dark practitioner, that means they know how to do the spells, they know how to do the rituals, and they should know. If they're unknowingly spreading it, it means that they're probably the victim, right? Katrina said also there's a lot of fake light workers, fake mediums and channels. Does that immediately mean that they are on the dark side of black magic? Because black magicians are powerful, they can also easily make you manifest and have you see results that you think are good, but actually the opposite, bad. Yeah, well, Katrina, you look like you know, sounds like you have some experience and knowledge about such things. Yes, there are a lot of fake light workers, you know, and now there are a lot of people who are working with evil spirits who are pretending to be good spirits, right? There are a lot of people who are tricked. There are a lot of mediums and channels who are tricked by the entities that they work with. So they end up doing they follow, they listen to the advice of the spirits, not knowing that the spirits are actually harming the people that comes to them. So it does happen, and that's very unfortunate. So for us, in CordyKet, and under Infinity, we train our students and disciples to be able to differentiate energies. That is the minimum requirement. If you can't differentiate energy, whether it's light or dark, if you can't differentiate the spirits that come to you, whether it's light or dark, divine or evil spirit, then you really shouldn't do this work, right? But the problem is this: the spirits can deceive. They can surround themselves with light. They can uh, show themselves as light, right? They can create illusions. So it's not so simple to be able to see past their deception and illusion. So we need you need training for that. All right. But the basic groundwork we normally tell people is this: you need to make sure your energy is of light. So you need to have good values as a person, right? And if you do a lot of UQ and light meditation, it helps. So your light is bright and it's clearly pure, purer than most. Evan is asking, what's your advice to protect from black magic for laymen? The easy, best method: UQ and light meditation. End of story. And it's free, right? You can learn for free with us online. So XF is saying, buy, invest in stock or digital coins, hoping money increase. Is it laziness and greedy? They also put lots of effort to learn about how to invest it. So when people put a lot of effort so that they are greedy and they can be lazy, does that mean that they are distancing themselves from their original intent and values of laziness and greed? Think about it. Think about it. How many people who are investing? Let me ask you. I don't mean to judge. I don't mean to judge. I don't judge. Right? If you're investing, right? How many of you are hoping for huge returns so that you don't have to work? How many of you, like, if there's a way to make more money, you will go all in? How many of you will admit that there is greed in you, that there is laziness in you? Now, no doubt in today's world, financial management and about investments is very heavy, right? And it's become very common. Now, no doubt some people will use it for good things, like people like Warren Buffett, right? The way he lives a very simple life, right? He lives a very simple life, and he has pledged 90% of his money to charities and foundations. People like Bill Gates seems like a very nice person. I shall take it as face value, right? Most of his money now is to help make the world a better place. He used to be the richest man on earth, and the only reason why he's no longer number one is because he's donated away most of his wealth, right? Now, for those people, if they're really using money to help the world, that's fine. But a lot of us, we want fast money. We don't want to. We want to work as little as possible for it, and we want to enjoy our life with the money that we make. It's not mainly to help other people. If you are truly honest, is there an element of greed? Is there element of laziness? Is there element of selfishness? And then I ask you, are those values good values or not so good values? Be honest. Be honest. All right. XF is saying, so better not to buy those evil eye souvenirs from Turkey eye souvenir shops. Well, it may not have anything, right? Some say those souvenirs are meant to protect from spells. XF is asking, will light workers use spells for good wishes? Yes. But we don't use spells. We don't really use spells. We use good energy. Like we bless people. Those people come to us for sometimes we bless people so that their life will be better. right? Is it for us? No, it's not for us. It's not for us to become rich. We've been doing this work for many years and we are not rich. I'm still renting a house. I'm driving a second-hand car. This year is 13 years old second-hand car, right? Um, am I greedy for money? No. I mean, if you really have no money, you need me to cleanse your black magic, I will cleanse it for you. I will cleanse it for you. Or I will teach you UQ or light meditation so that you will cleanse it yourself. That's the very minimum, all right? A lot of people invest in house company to make quick money. Eileen is saying, I think invest is okay, but not speculation. Yeah, you can say that, right? The thing is this, be honest, is there greed and laziness? Now, is there greed and laziness? Now, a lot of people really do actual investment and they do a very safe way of investing and they are not so moved by greed, not moved by emotions and go all in, or there's a quick buck to be made. A lot of people are speculating on this stock or speculating on Bitcoin, for example. I don't know. At the end of the day, right, you are answerable for your own actions and you will be judged, upon your death. All right, whether you are doing things goodly or not. But either way, karma, we can't escape from karma. All right, I believe I managed to answer everyone's questions. We are at 1 hour 40 minutes. Are there any last minute questions before we call it a night, call it a day? What is light magic? XF is asking. Very good. That will be one of the future topics for spiritual questions answered, right? Right. Tonight is about black magic and curses, and there will be another session whereby we talk about light magic. All right. Any questions? If no questions, we'll call it an end to the session. Tomorrow night at the same time, right? I'll be teaching. Let me see. Tomorrow night is I can't remember. Is it light meditation? I think tomorrow night is light meditation. So tomorrow at 9 p.m. we have a session. So if you are free to join, right? Right. If you would like to learn how to protect yourself from black magic, right? You can join tomorrow night. Is online light meditation. All right. So you'll be surprised, right? We are teaching light meditation in Unity Qigong online for free, and how much it can help you all, including black magic. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me. If you feel that you've gained some value, you would like to contribute and help us, help keep us going so that we can continue to serve you. Please do make a donation. I will send out how to make a donation in the groups. If you can't afford to make a donation, that is all right too. Okay, we are happy to share our knowledge and our experience. All right, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you. Good night. Goodbye.